Video 12, Nature of the Self, Nature of the Enlightened Being. Within brackets, both are the same. Devi Kalotharam, verse 22 says, Niralambam in the Nigilamume Andri, Niralambatal Ulira Nirpa, Niralambamagach செய்து இந்த அனைத்தும் நிராலம்பமாகிடுவன் என்றே அறி. நிராலம்பம் இந்த நிகிலமுமே அன்றி. Here he is talking about the end of cause and effect. Everything in the world has a cause. Any effect must have a cause. If there is a tree, there must have been a seed. If there is a baby, there must have been parents. It's obvious. But we are talking about Brahman, whose presence is responsible for the creation, sustenance and destruction of the entire universe. Right. So we can say in a way the universe depends on Brahman for its existence. The question is, what does Brahman depend on? This is the point. It doesn't depend on anything. If Brahman is the tree, there is no seed. It is self-existent. That is the beauty of it. So, Niralambam in the Nigilamume Andri, Niralambatal Ulira Nirpa. The whole, since Brahman itself doesn't have a cause, a support, the universe doesn't have a support either. So, when Brahman itself is non-causal, in the sense it is not caused, then everything else can also be made non-caused, which means they don't exist. That is the beauty. In the physical universe, whatever you see, they don't first of all exist. They appear to exist. On what? On that causeless Brahman. So, if you just give up all your support at the psychological level, if you give up all your support, even the body, taking support from the body, mind, from other people, from other material objects, just give up all support, alambam, then you will remain pure Satchit Anandam. That's what he says in this verse. Devi Kalotharam, verse 23 says, Viyoma vadivagum vyabaga masunyam yadoruvan abhimanithidanel yandum avan bisagosa krimi pola prabanja pasa samsariyam par. Now, this describes the nature of the self. Viyoma vadivagum vyabaga masunyam. The all-pervading nothingness. The all-pervading nothingness. Viyoma vadivagum. It is of the nature of the sky. The sky is not an object, but it pervades all objects, because the entire universe, we can say, is inside the sky. Vyoma vadivagum vyabaga masunyam. So, this is a practice tip. He wants us to practice, think about shunyam. Shunyam is what? Nothingness. Because at the Brahman level, there is no object at all. There is no body, there is no world, there is no universe. Only Brahman exists. It is basically non-material. It is non-objective. It doesn't have object at all. That is the primary state, that is the permanent state, that is your permanent truth and my permanent truth. Vyoma vadivagum vyabaga masunyam Yadaruvan abhimanithidanel yandumavan bisagosa krimi pola prabanja pasa samsariyam par. If one does not do mananam, thinking about this mashunyam, Brahman being a mashunyam, of course it is existence, consciousness, bliss. It is not in the Buddhist sense an inert state, but it is formless. That's what is very important. If we do not do dhyanam, thinking, meditation on this emptiness, we will be stuck in the universe the way the silkworm is stuck in its own material. We will be stuck, he says. So here the practice tip is just do meditation on emptiness. The entire universe, its objects are erased in our experience. There remains only emptiness, total emptiness. But that emptiness is not inert, it is Palandru, it is Atma, Satchit Anandam, blissful state of existence. Their material object is not there, body is not there. As formless Atma, we are bliss. We are bliss absolute, existence absolute, and consciousness absolute. All this will come to our experience when the ego subsides. When the ego goes back and subsides, merges with its source. In verse 25 he says, ஞான உதயம் பொருட்டே நற்கிரியை நச்சரியைதான் நவிலப்பட்டதால் நானொன்றை மானதத்தின் உட்கருதும் சாலம்ப யோகந்தனையும் ஓரி நிற்பிரபஞ்சத்தே நிலை. One of the stunning phrases, sentence, நிற்பிரபஞ்சத்தே நிலை. Be established in non-universe. He says, ஞான உதயம் பொருட்டே நற்கிரியை நச்சரியைதான் நவிலப்பட்டதால். In order to gain this Atma Jnanam, realization, the scriptures have prescribed do's and don'ts. நற்கிரியை நச்சரியைதான் நவிலப்பட்டதால் நானொன்றை மானதத்தின் உட்கருதும் சாலம்ப யோகந்தனையும் ஓரி. Avoid all supports, he says. Anything, puja, uttering of mantra, everything, of course, but we need to retain vicharam. That's what Sri Bhagavan has taught us. Vicharam or self-inquiry practice is needed up to the state of realization. See, all these point to the fact that if the mind subsides, we don't have to worry. We will be in the state of jnanam, realization. That's what. So, nirprapanjate nilai is give up all the entire prapancham, universe. Give it up. You are in jnanam. If you want to hold on to a little bit of the universe, you will still be bound and you will be born again. It is not liberation. In another place he says, Parama Nirvanam Paramam. Giving up everything is nirvana. That state of total freedom from the demon of the universe. The demon, why? Because we cling to him and he clings to us. Anything of the nature of matter, material, we need to do away with. That is what is said in this. Nirprapanjate nilai. Be established in non-universe, he says. Then verse 29 says, another important one. ஆகாயம் போல அகிலத்தகம்பரமும் ஏகாங்கமாய் உருவம் இன்றியதாம் மகா பரமானந்தத்து உட்படிந்தவரன்பே பரமானந்த படிவர்ப்பார். Now he describes the nature of Brahman or the self. ஆகாயம் போல அகிலத்தகம்பரமும். Very, very important to understand. What you call Brahman is the subtlest of subtlest things. It is so subtle that it can percolate, pervade, remain inside and yet be outside of all the material objects of the universe, the entire universe. You think something is very, very solid, what, diamond and such materials? This Brahman, which is the cause of all the creation of the entire universe, is so subtle that it pervades everything. That is why it is called existence principle, not existing objects. Existing objects, whatever it is, they all emanate from this existence itself. We cannot even call it existence principle. Existence itself, Sat, pure being. So, ஆகாயம் போல அகில தகம்புரமும், inside and outside of everything, the way the sky is. Like the sky, this Brahman is inside everything and outside everything. ஆகாயம் போல அகில தகம்புரமும் ஏகாங்கமாய். It is one only. There is no division at all. There is no question of talking about two at all. One. ஏகாங்கமாய் உருவம் இன்றியதாம், formless. This is the discrimination Shankara taught, right? Discriminate between what is matter, what is spirit. That's all. The whole game is spirit itself remains and appears as spirit as well as matter. This is said in Devi Kalotram. It is the very same Brahman which appears as matter and non-matter and creates a confusion through the Chit Jada Granthi process. That is why we are identified. That is why we take lifetime after lifetime. We are born and again and again. This is a process. So, Ahayam Bola Agila Tagamramum Ekangamai Uruvam Indriyadam Aha Paramananda Tutpadindavaranbe Paramananda Padivarpar. So, if you realize this Brahman which pervades everything, but yet it remains untouched, you will be in the state of bliss. 32 verse says, Devi Kalotram, Dehamidil Suchamamai Cherum, Uir Siddha Buddhi Ahum Ahangaram Evayavukum, Ekachitta Anyame and Sindayatrave, Achitta in Maniduvan and Madi. This verse talks about discrimination. Dehamidil Suchamamai Cherum, Uir Siddha Buddhi Ahum Ahangaram. In this body, in a very subtle form, what comes and joins this body? That is life, what we call individual life, Uir Siddha Buddhi, memory, intellect, what you call mind, intellect, the Ahankaram, I am the body sense. All these are just this side, keep it aside. You think of Atma as Ekachitta Anyame. This Brahman, what you call Brahman, is not in any way connected to this process of body, mind, memory, ego. No. Atma is apart from it, he says. Degamadil Suchamamai Cherum, Uyi Siddha Buddhi Ahangaram Ivayavukum Ekachitta Anyame. He says this oneness is foreign to this body, he says. Body, mind, etc. He says this Ekachitta, this oneness, this Brahman is foreign to this, which means it is not connected. They have no relationship. If you think like this, he says, if you think like this and practice like this, stay without thoughts, he says, you will become one with Brahman. You will become Brahman. You will remain Brahman. You will realize you are already Brahman because it is not something that we acquire. Then verse 34. Chittam எப்போது திறமாகும் அத்தை எவ்விதத்தும் சலிப்பித்தல் ஆகாது இத்தனையும் சிந்திக்க வேண்டுவது இன்று ஆங்கே அச்சித்தத்தை பந்தித்து நிச்சலமே பண்ணு. This verse talks about the importance of bringing about stillness of mind. He says, Chittam எப்போது திறமாகும் அத்தை எவ்விதத்தும் சலிப்பித்தல் ஆகாது. Once you do your spiritual practices, say breath observation or mantra, uttering of mantra or vicharam, when you do this at a point, you will get a certain peace, stillness. The mind will subside. The fast vibration will become slow, and it will become still. He says at that point, don't try to think of anything else and disturb this and make it, vibrate again, he says. Chittam எப்போது திறமாகும் அத்தை எவ்விதத்தும் சலிப்பித்தல் ஆகாது. இத்தனையும் சிந்திக்க வேண்டுவது என்று. Don't think about anything because anything you think about belongs to the universe, matter. You are non-matter, you are spirit. ஆங்கிய சித்தத்தை பந்தித்து, you arrest that mind, he says. பந்தித்து நிச்சலமே பண்ணு, make it still. Now I'll remind ourselves of what Sri Bhagavan often quoted from the Bible. Be still and know that I am God. That's all. The whole mechanism is wrapped within this process of seeking the source of the ego, affirming within ourselves, reminding ourselves that we are Brahman, we are not just the body. I am this body, mind and all else, like Bhagavan said. This is the whole phenomenon, exercise. It might take some time, but there is no point in giving up because we utter the word I. If you utter the word I, we need to be truthful to the meaning of the word I. Let us think about it.